Alright, when I left you last, what we're going to do was we're going to start making our ground polygons in Gmax. To do this, we need to set Gmax up. The best way I have found to do this is thanks to, where's he at here? Let me see if I can find Bill Womack, of course. Well, I can't find. This is a tutorial that this guy put together. It's an excellent tutorial. Basically brought me from the old way of doing it to the new way of doing it. He doesn't give his name, but I'll try to find it and put it in the comments. Anyways, before, there's so many different ways to do ground polygons. Well, actually, there's two main ways to do ground polygons. The first way is to use the old FS 2002 game pack, and to do that, you would end up with ASM files, things like that. Let's see if I can find one for you here. You'd end up with ASM files that you would have to edit, and you'd have to add this in here to get rid of the shadow. You'd have to change your layering and all that kind of stuff. And while it worked pretty well, it wasn't the end all be all. Okay, uh, it had its limitations, and with FSX, you have basically around Earth technology to deal with. So you had to slice up your polygons no more than 100 meters between each point. So your runway, which used to be just basically a plane or a rectangle that you convert to a plane in Gmax, would end up having a lot more polygons than it needed to have. So in comes the new way of making ground polygons for FSX, and uh, you can use the FSX 2000 or Flight Sim 2004 SDK or the new FSX SDK. I use the FSX one. There's a couple extra steps that I'll show you. They don't differ too much. This tutorial here, if you have it, it follows the FS 2004 way of doing it. The only difference between that and FSX is you have to give it I call it a GUI ID or a GUID name, and also a friendly name, and we'll do all that later. So in order to get this set up, what we have to do is our base satellite picture here. What we want to do is get the exact center of it, and then what we will go from there with is to create a polygon to match, so that everything we do in Gmax matches exactly what's going on in FSX. It will lay right on top of our satellite image. To do that, you're going to need to select your photo map here, and you just select the lineup and right click on this point here, any point really. And what this does is it gives you the file name, or the map name, gives you your north, south, west, and east coordinates. What you're going to do with those is what I do, and what's suggested by that tutorial, is create an Excel file or whatever, and you're going to punch all these numbers in: north, south, west, and east. With your north and south, you're going to add these two together, divide by 2, find an average, and get the center of those. Same thing with these, center of those. What you then do, we're done with that for now, is you're going to open Model Converter X. This is all in that tutorial. Basically, I'm just putting it in video form. You're going to go to your options, and this right here will be these two numbers, your averages for your default latitude and default longitude. So everything you do within Model Converter X will use these coordinates here. So every time you import your buildings and other types of models, including your ground textures, you can just use, it'll automatically go to the right spot. And you're going to go to your special tools, coordinate converter, and what this does is you're taking these numbers right here, again, here and here. They will automatically be there. What you're also going to type here is going to be your north latitude. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I went blank for a second there, sorry. You will type your north latitude, so your 32, 751, 4776 here, and then your east longitude, 95, it'll be 489, 7308, or depending on whatever your airport is. And what it'll do is it will convert a round earth coordinates into a flat earth so they can use it in Gmax, and it'll give you a number here for X and a number here for Y. I've already done it, and my X is going to be 482, 188. Y will be 962, 741. What I have here is, this is the how do I explain this? Basically, the runway is not true north and south. It is off by 2.13 degrees. So I did that, and I'll show you where that comes in handy later. Alright, so now that we have these saved, we can open Gmax. And we are going to, see, I've already done this once. We're going to use our top viewport here. You can turn your grid off or leave it on, it doesn't really matter. And all we're going to do is we're going to make a plane, I believe is what he wants us to do. If not, he'll want us to do a, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. I'm going to make a plane. Our plane will have 0 segments for this part. And we need to move it to the exact, we need to go ahead and center it up. So therefore, our plane is centered. Now you can turn on your smooth and highlights if you want to, you don't have to. But we're going to go into our plane, we're going to convert it to an editable mesh or editable poly, either one. You're going to select your vertex, you're going to grab your top vertexes here, and here's our y-axis. So what we'll do is we'll open up our Excel file, and on the Y it should be 962, 741. So we will go down here to Y and change it to 962, 741. Okay, I'm going to take this bottom one here, and it'll be negative 962, 741. We can do this here to make it so we can see the whole thing. Now we're going to go ahead and do the X. And our X is 482, 188. So 482, 188. And negative 482, 188. The negative should already be there, so just don't backspace it and it'll be there. You'll know if you mess it up because they'll end up right on top of this, so you can just hit undo and make sure you get that negative in there. And just tab out of these. Once you type it in, just hit tab and it'll update it here. I had to figure that out. So what you're left with now is a plane. We'll turn on our smooth highlights. That is 0 meters of the z-axis. That's off the ground basically. We want it to be flat. And it is the exact same shape and size of our satellite image. What I've already gone ahead and done is I've already created basically a flattened version of our fall texture. It doesn't matter which one you use, whatever one you want to use. Let's go ahead and save this. We can make it a bitmap, it doesn't matter. We're just using it for reference. And then we go back to Gmax. I'm going to go to our material. I'm going to make a new standard material just for this one thing. Make sure we turn it on here. And we'll go here and we'll select the file. We need a bitmap. Desktop. I got a lot of stuff you're not seeing because it's on the other monitor. So I got to make sure I find the right one. There we go. We're just going to drag that over. Then it looks all funky. It's okay. We have to go here. I'm going to UVW map it to a plane. So therefore we are set. You just right click and collapse this, or you can keep building on it. I always keep collapsing mine. The first time you do it, you'll get a warning saying yes or no, warning you it's going to be dangerous, blah blah blah, meaning you can't go back. That's what the undo button's for. Hey, whatever. You can just check the box, say don't show it again, and hit yes, and it'll collapse it for you. That's the way I do things. Might not be the correct way, but it's just the way I do it. And now we are left with a wonderful satellite image that matches, or in Gmax, that matches what we have imported into the sim. Shouldn't be any stretching or anything. It should fit exactly right because of how we did the coordinates. Just remember, don't accidentally move it. If you accidentally drag it over here, you can just hit undo, or you can just zero it back up. It's not a big deal. Just be mindful of what you have selected up here. Alright, next step to do is to align it to a grid. Our tutorial explains to us how to do this. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to create a grid in Gmax, and what this does is it basically, see how the runway, as I said, is not north and south. It's actually, what did I say, 2.13 degrees off center. I hate when it does this. I have to set this up to the compatibility still, so that's why stuff looks all weird. 2.13 degrees off center. So basically this runway's not running true north and south, or true along the y-axis on the top-down view. So we have to make a grid. To do that, oops, excuse me. To do that, we're going to go to our helpers here. We're going to make a grid. Drag it the size of your runway. Okay. We need to sorry, I've gone blank here. I lose track of what I'm saying sometimes. You want it to be the length and width of your runway. So you can either open that up in we'll go ahead and use ADE to get the length of the runway here. Give us a good starting point. Or you can sit here and play around with it and align it up and down, which I don't have the patience for that kind of stuff. I say that as we're waiting for a program to open and blah 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 blah. Oh, recent files. Hey, there, look at there. There's our runway. Actually, yep. We're gonna edit. Where you at? Length 1221 meters by 0.9. So 1222 by 18 should get us started. Go away. There we go. And we'll just move this in place. Now we'll double check it, make sure it matches on the other end. It's pretty close. Oh, this is where we'll go ahead and put that in there. Negative 2.13 degrees. And it'll, don't do that. I sunk it below the thing here. We're going to rotate it. Negative 2.13 degrees. There we go. Looks like a lot, I know, but it actually works. And we will once again move that into place. Oh, you stupid thing. Give me my grid back. There it is. Ooh, that should be pretty good. I use the center line to align it there. That's pretty good. Alright, so now that we have our grid set, we're going to our top-down view here, and we're going to align this whole view so that it is all straight up and down like it's supposed to be. So we go to Views, Grid, Top. That didn't work. I can't remember. Alright, I figured I had to Google that one. Right click, I forgot to activate the grid. There we go. Good golly. That's driving me nuts. Alright, so now our grid is active. And as you can see, the image has been rotated. So now that everything is running straight up and down like it's supposed to be. Makes placing objects, runways, and stuff like that so much easier. So much easier. Somebody's sending me a text message. Yeah. But anyways, it makes working on this stuff so much better. All right, now we are at a crossroads. The crossroads being, what do we want to do now? There's two ways to go about making your ground polygons. The two ways to do it are go ahead and just leave your satellite image as your base. But as you can see, the ground, the grass, and stuff like that can be a bit fuzzy if you're flying into it. It's not real sharp. But you can make it so that your taxiways and stuff like that that lay on top of it are. The other method is to make all this area around your runways and all that kind of stuff basically a smaller area here, what I'm encompassing here, basically a ground polygon, so that everything will be all happy and in alignment with itself. Now, once you decide what you want to do, I'm going to show you both ways. Okay. The first way is not always the easiest way, but this is the way we're going to start now. This is how the tutorial that I was using to get this grid and all that kind of stuff working, this is how it explains to do it, and it works great if your airport uses one type of surface for every part, meaning like your asphalt is always exactly the same kind of asphalt. But as you can see, this airport, there's all kind of different things here. You don't have to mock those exactly. Like here we have some concrete or cement, depending on what you want to call it. These hangers set on the concrete or cement. You know, just different shades. This is newer than this, so this is all old and faded out asphalt. This is brand new asphalt, and it is pure black in real life, trust me. I just went out there today. But anyways, I'll show you his method first, and you can read his tutorial and use his method. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you want to do. But we'll go ahead and create some shapes here. We're going to use rectangles, and we have to use rectangles because with his method you're going to be using boolean, or however you want to say it, to cut everything. So we're going to make our runway first. I'm sniffing a lot. It's because I'm all stopped up today. Nose-wise, by the way. Not the other kind of stopped up. So we're going to go ahead and get our runway set here. Exact length, and we'll get the width set in a sec. The length is the hardest part, because 1222 isn't exactly right. You want this to be pretty close to exact, because this is going to be what you're looking at when you're flying to your airport. So let's see, 1223 maybe, 1223 meters. Center this up here. It's pretty close. Pretty close. And I'm seeing an issue. They say 2.13 degrees, right? Yeah. You can see our runway rectangle isn't lining up perfectly with our airport. it's off by a degree or two. So we'll have to mess with that in a minute. Right now we'll just go ahead and get the width and all that kind of stuff set. So we'll mess with the width here. Want it to hang over just a little bit. We're going to make an edge to it so it doesn't have to be hanging over a lot. That's good. 18 meters is pretty good. See what I'm talking about? How it doesn't line up with the end if you go to the end. But we'll work on that in a second. I'm basically just teaching you method right now. So we'll center it up here so we can get this part to work. Now, what you're going to do is go through and make rectangles for every bit here. So one here. You want it to overlap edges. It has to overlap the edges. Okay. So here's another one. We're going to overlap the edge. Just like that. Need one for this. I moved my damn thing again. Rectangle. We'll take that one out of there. Because we got to make a long rectangle right here. We can refine the shape in a minute to make it a little bit better. Alrighty, let's go here. We're just going to overlap here because what we'll do is we'll have a, I'm going to bring this one down and we'll fill in the holes later. Damn this thing. Keep forgetting to click rectangle. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Alright. Good deal. I'm not going to sit here and do all the rest of this. I'll cut and have that done later. I'm just showing you why we're doing it this way for now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and refine our shapes a little bit better here before we mess with them too much. We're going to convert these to editable splines. Take our points for this one here, and we're going to select this right side, and we're going to bring it out a little bit, just like that. Make it match up a little better. Good, 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 good. And we'll bring the bottom down like this. Perfect. All overlaps, we're good. We'll make this an overlap a little bit more. All I'm doing is just selecting the vertex mode here and moving the vertices. Keeping the shape simple for now. So let me have a look at here and see what we got going on. Okay, sorry about that. I figured out what I forgot a very important step. We got to attach all these together. I completely forgot. So you're just going to select one of them, probably your runway, and just attach. If you have a bunch, we're going to attach all of them, and just unclick attach there. It has to be an editable spline for you to do that, by the way. Now we would go to Boolean Union. Still not fucking. Alright. Again, I've done all this once and I've completely forgot it in a span of 1 week. That's terrible, isn't it? So after I've got all these attached, I'm going to go into Editable Spline, scroll down. Here's our Boolean. We'll go ahead and select this one first, our runway. Boolean. Make sure it is set to Union. You just click the edge here you want to join. Look at there. See how it does that? Makes it all one big nice little polygon. I'm going to do this to all these edges. Every once in a while you'll have one that won't cooperate and you got to kind of mess around with it. See how it does that? So you got to reselect it. Boolean. Thank you. Anyways, And you'll do that for all your bits and pieces all the way down. Now we can get out of, excuse me, we can get out of editable spline mode here. So now we have one big fat runway surface here, assuming it's all asphalt. And we're going to, we got to refine these edges. So let's turn our satellite image back on. This runway, this edge right here, we're going to go to vertex. I'm going to right click and make it a bezel, bevel, whatever corner. Actually, the best way to do it, my preferred method, is I like to fillet. Fillet can create lots of unneeded polygons, but you select fillet, hold your mouse over it, left click, and just hold down and drag it. And it creates a pretty good corner. That's good. I'll do the same thing here. And this is the method the tutorial suggests. It's the way I like to do it. And we're going to go through and just fillet all these corners or wherever your airport is. If you're doing the same airport, hey, good for you. Just don't release it, because I plan to do that eventually. One of these days when I finish it. And your work might make me look bad. Like, well, hey, you showed the guy how to do it. How come you can't do it as well as this guy? It is a dog-eat-dog world out there in the add-on market, guys. Trust me. I learned a lot having been with level D simulations for a little while now. Look at that. Anyways, you get the idea. Ooh, hey. Anyways, you get the idea. Shows you how to do it. Once you're done doing that, you can hide your, select your background and hide that. Oh, I guess we're still in. Yep, that's why. Hide your background there. So you are left with this. Make sure it's fully closed, not clothed, closed. I'm going to right click it, convert it to editable poly or mesh. I like poly. And now we have a beautiful little, you can look at it in the different viewports here. This is, normally you'd have your entire airport here, but you have your taxiways and runways and everything all joined together, nice and neat. This is a great method, as I said, if you want your textures to all be exactly the same. Me personally, I don't. And the tutorial actually teaches you how to do edges. I'm not going to do edges. You can read the tutorial and find out. It's very simple. The guy is very good at explaining things. And like I said, I'll put a link to it in the description. Kind of help you out to find it. But let's say we're going to go ahead and go with what we got here. We're going to make a new texture. And we're going to select an asphalt texture. You want something that is seamless. What that means is basically you can tile it and it doesn't look like patchwork all the way through. I'll show you the one I use. Bring it up in the big screen here, make it a little easier for you. Seamless, tileable, asphalt texture. This is a decent one. If it's going to load, what is it taking? Oh, there it goes. You can put this one in. I have my own. Let me find it here. No. Asphalt. Where are you at, asphalt? Maybe it's in the ground textures. It is in the ground textures. Apron is what I have it called. Because it's dark asphalt. So that's the texture we're going to use. So we'll go to our airport folder or wherever your textures are saved. Ground. And we're going to choose the apron texture that I have. Make sure we enable it. I'm going to drag it right there. close it, and we're going to UVW map it. Now there's a cool way to do this. What it's going to do is it's going to stretch that texture to fit whatever you have, and you can see that's what it would look like if you were to import it into the sim right now. It looks like basic crap. So that's one way to do it. What I like to do is, now you can edit these coordinates here. Basically it stretches it further and further and further, and you can keep going until it fixes the texture. You can do that, or you can go ahead and just go into your unwrap your UVW, go to edit, and basically select your vertices here. I like to scale them. You can hold shift and do your scaling and get it like it's supposed to be. There we go. And then you can just scale it up from there. You can do that, or you can edit the coordinates like I showed you before. You're going to zoom in pretty good so that you can see what you're doing. It's starting to look pretty good. I want to get it to where it looks clear about this zoom level here. Give it one more little shot. There we go. Good. There we go. That's pretty clear. It looks good actually. And that's it. And collapse it, and we're done. It is textured. It's ready to go. Now all you got to do, is import in your scene, and you're completely done with your airport. No, I wish it were that easy. With this method, say you had all this done here and you did your concrete in a separate texture and you could attach the two. I'm going to show you my method of doing it. You know, it's a little bit more drawn out, but it's the way I know how to do it, so it's the way I'm going to do it. But for now, I just wanted to show you this method. We're already at 34 minutes. I can probably edit it down to about 20 minutes, and it takes forever. It took 4.5 hours to compile that 45-minute video. So I'm going to try to keep this one as simple as possible, and I know it's so boring to sit through a long tutorial video. From here we can export it into the sim and see how it looks. I'm going to hold off doing that for now until we are ready to export it. So next video, let's call this step 3A. Step 3B is going to be an alternative way of doing things. We're going to make this entire part here a satellite image. Okay, so it'll look pretty cool and make working with our vertices a whole lot better, and it gives you a little more control, I think. So until then, that should at least get you started and get you well into Confusion. So I'll see you on the next part shortly.